have mercy. That was a freaking bomb. You missed that down there. That was the bomb, right? That was the bomb. But the point I'm making is that, look, if I'm doing me, and me is moving forward pretty well, but I'm with you, should I expose you to what I'm doing? Yep, I should. Yes. Should I allow you to know what I'm doing? Yes. Yes. But then you ask, after I show you what I'm doing, do you have any interest in what I'm doing? And I'm giving you the right to say yay or nay. Because if you have interest, we'll talk about it. If you have no interest, I'm okay because I'm doing me here, right?
Even as that person should still be supportive of what you're doing.
Well, absolutely, right? So that person should say, and I thought, that person should say, you ain't engaged in this, but I got you. I got you, right? So you gonna cut hair? Guess what? What time you coming home? So I'll know to wait up for you, right? What time you leaving out? Because I can make you a sandwich, right? Right. That's one thing Danny's wife is amazing at. Danny's wife is amazing. Danny's wife, I mean, I think he done coaxed her into going into security. I think he did, right? She ain't no desire to be security. His wife does security, right? She about this tall. She about this tall.
Giant to me.
Say it, Dan.
Yeah, she'll giant. When she get in his face and tell her what, right? Honey. You better stop that crap, honey. Right? But I think she encourages him and supports him. Right? She know her husband don't believe in spending no money when he ain't got to. Trust me. He don't spend no money when he ain't got to. And guess what? They are in lockstep regarding that. So their philosophy is, baby, don't leave no money downtown. Don't leave no money downtown. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make you a meal. You know, every now and then he'll still not eat the meal and get some money, get something downtown. But guess what? When he do that, he don't let her know. He don't let her know. Right? He don't let her know. The point is, whether she's in what he's doing or not in what he's doing, like Donna said, there's always a mechanism or opportunity to support. But you gotta be interested and intrigued by what the person's doing. Not that it's gonna change your life, but the hard part comes, Danny, when you say, oh, so now I gotta find a way for you to be involved in what I'm doing, when what I'm doing is working for me.
Some people judge.
That's the hard. They are, Jenna. Very good. They are. Some people see your thing that you do, and see how.
It's enriching your life.
That's right.
And guess what they say, Sheila? And guess what they say, Sheila? You don't need me. Because when relationship is based upon need, as opposed to desire, want, then relationship is something else. It becomes about control. And that's hard.
But just taking everything in, that also falls on the other person not even realizing or accepting their worth. Because especially if you have a partner, you're doing something, and they ask it, because kind of go back what Danny said, I kind of agree. You can try to make them include them, but if they feel a certain way about themselves and say, hey, you know what, you may not be doing what I'm doing, but hey, your support means a lot. It fuels me to do it. So if they don't acknowledge their own worth, then maybe you have to pray about that, and it takes a responsibility on them to know their own worth of what they have just been told. If I tell you, hey, your presence means something to you guys, and you're like, oh, but still, I want to do exactly what you're doing, but you don't have a skill to do it. Bro, I'm not asking you to do what I do. I just need your support. You have value, and you have value to me in your presence. But if you don't own and accept that, that's not my problem.
But isn't it important, I love what you said, Dennis, isn't it important for us to figure out the value we bring as opposed to having someone ascribe value to us.
That's true, because I was gonna ask you this.
Right.
Even if they don't know their own worth, I mean, you said it, it's not up to you, you can't do that.
How can I give somebody worth in what I'm doing?
Right.
Right? I'm not saying you can't. I'm asking the question, how do you see what I think, especially not just marriage but relationship period, I think it requires so much of a strength of others' mindedness. I gotta be strong to always consider the other when sometimes I'm weak and I don't necessarily feel like I got the strength to consider the other. I'm just trying to, it's enough for me to get out the bed and do what I gotta do. Then to have to figure out how to fit you in. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, so what's the answer, Pastor?
The answer is you better know who Jesus is because Jesus must be our strength. That's the answer. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta change perspective. You gotta change perspective. If you don't change perspective, then you don't have the ability. Because most times what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out in our own strength. Right? How can I make this person a part of what I'm doing, a part of my life, when this person really has no interest in my life? This person has no interest in what I'm doing. This person has no thought process concerning what I'm doing. So how do I keep them connected? When in all honesty, it takes everything I got to stay connected to the thing I'm doing, which is my passion. And now I got to what? Bring this person along?
You're already weird.
They can't see the blend. They can't see the fade line. They can't see it. They don't have the gift to see the fade line. I see the fade line, and I'm rolling in the fade line and doing what I'm doing to bless other people. And all they do is say is, your part is crooked. That's all they can do is say, from a critical standpoint,
And you're doing all the work.
that your this side higher than the other one.
Well, say, what
You
about,
got-
what about me?
What when you gonna cut my head?
Oh, man,
Stop, Joe. Stop, Joe. Stop, Joe. Stop, Joe. You cut everybody else's hair. When you gonna cut my hair? Right? You got me walking around here looking like I'm some banshee, but that's all right. You go cut everybody else's hair.
Is everybody else paying?
You really want war.
Right? But the point, what is the point? Thank you for the metaphor, Joe. But what's the point? What's the point? The point is it requires grace not just for us to walk in what our calling is and what our giftedness is. It also requires much grace. Much grace. Right? My mind went right just now, Miss Gray. My mind went to Joanne's favorite scripture in Luke 17th chapter. When we talked about if you sin, if a man comes to you 7 times, Danny, and says to you, right, forgive me. He offends you 7 times, and every time he comes to you, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, right? What the Bible say do? Kick him in the butt? Knock him down? The Bible say what?
I'm trying to find that scripture.
I just said, I gave her the address, and she said, you know what that means? I don't want to find your house. She said, you know what? He said it was around here somewhere, right? I can't find it. Well, must not be meant for me to find.
Move on to something.
Let's move on to something else. Right? That came across my mind because why? This person is offensive to my walk with God. This person is offensive to my accomplishments, to that which I'm trying to walk in. This person is offensive to that. And they smack me in the face every time. And God says, what? Forgive me. Forgive me.
Grant him even more grace.
Grant him even more grace.
Before Abraham was able, and God told him to leave his family, to separate him away from his family. It was a reason. And he left, he did with God. Sometimes it's hard for us Because we don't know the path we're about to take. Abraham did not know the path that God had for him.
It's unknown to him.
So when God told him to go and forsake and leave your father and all them, they were, those were idol worshiping people, some of them, right? He wanted to take them out of that land and move them somewhere else. And sometimes we don't want to let that person or those people go when God has a plan for you, right?
Amen.
Sometimes I used to wonder why sometimes people, a lot of rich people sometimes, they're not married.
A lot of successful people.
Successful people. And I used to wonder, man, what's going on with that?
A lot of successful people. They choose not to marry because the type of lifestyle that they choose to live and moving toward the goals of their life, people won't understand, and I happen to respect those type of people a great deal. Because what they realize is the life that they are leading, they're leading it on purpose, with intention, right? Miss Grace is one of my heroes. Miss Grace is one of my heroes, which is Miss Grace. This beautiful little lady right here, she chooses to be. Because y'all know she could have. I see some folks say, "Can I get your number, Grace?" And Grace say what? No, I'm fine. Right? Some people make a choice based upon their intention for life and what their passion is for life, right? But you know, Ms. Grace, when my mom went to the 17th chapter, not Sheila, Lisa, did you get the address? In 17th chapter? Lisa 17th. Did you get that? 17th chapter? Maybe I should ask you to pull up so we can read it, right? Right? Maybe I can text it to her, right? I text it to her, yeah, that's what I do. Absolutely, I'll text it to her. But the real, look at Sheila. Sheila pulled it up for us, right? Sheila pulled it up for us, that's terrible. I tell you, we some petty people, boy. We cut it. I love Grace Life, right? But what struck me, Miss Grace, and until we studied it, that's probably been a couple years now, but until we studied it, do y'all remember what the response of the disciples were? After he said, "Forgive them, Lord, increase our faith." Right? And I asked y'all the question, y'all think they said it inquisitively?
No.
Lord, increase our faith. How y'all think they said it?
Lord, increase our faith.
But see, the reason I bring that,
That's what you want me to do.
reason, absolutely, that's what he commanded me to do. He's commanded me in the text to say that when you're offended, don't be taken aback by offense. Because people will offend you. So stop tripping that people offend you. But trust me, knowing that when someone offends you, it's better for them to tie a millstone around their neck and cast themselves into the sea. Why? Because I am the great arbiter. I'm the one who settles accounts. Not you, me. God, if we can learn that. And then he says, if somebody sins against you 7 times in a day and comes back to you 7 times and asks for forgiveness, your response should be, I forgive. And all of what forgiveness entails.
How about if they don't ask
Whether they ask for forgiveness or not. Grace looking for the loophole. Miss Grace looking for the loophole. Miss Grace, say it loud with me. Lord, increase my faith.
But some people don't ask forgiveness. They never ever say I'm sorry.
No, they never say I'm
Never,
sorry.
ever.
But when they never say I'm sorry,
I forgive them.
do I stay on my high horse?
Nope.
You gotta forgive.
Do I stay on my high horse?
I'm humble.
Or do I?
You know, that's huge, because nowadays people are so forgiving.
I mean,
But whether they don't or
know.
not,
I know, I'm just saying, but they don't. So if you already in the mindset of saying, whether they ask or not, like Ms. Dre said, your intentions is really, it's for you.
Right.
It's for you to keep it all
Absolutely.
for you.
I got a friend, she always says, between her and her husband, she learned to keep short accounts. That's an amazing gift, right? I said, well, what did he do whenever? She said, I don't remember. She intentionally forgets. Now, do y'all think it really would take her a long time to bring that thought back up?
Not at all.
It wouldn't take her a long time at all
No,
to bring that thought back up,
real quick.
right? But she exercises what God does. What God does, right? God says, as far as the east is from the west, I've removed your transgressions from you, right? When will the east and the west ever touch? They'll never touch.
And that's peace, though.
Absolutely. When you can just
Just let it go.
deal with it, right? Now what she don't say is she deals with it, but then let it go.
You gotta let it go. You gotta
And like you said, Joe, that's not for them. That's for you.
And you gotta let it go when someone comes to your house Christmas Day.
Okay, call that.
And
Tell
I'm
the
just
story.
gonna say,
Lord Jesus.
comes to my house Miss Grace. 5 people coming to my house Miss Grace. They bring 3 additional people.
Okay, that's
I have
you got
prepared
enough.
food for 5 basically.
No, you
know,
made
it
it.
was
You
all
got
good.
you can stretch that.
But then, Miss Grace, you bring something to my house, and then it wasn't opened or used, and then you take it.
Don't tell me.
Miss Grace, I said,
What you mean, take like that?
they took it when they left, Miss Joe,
They needed their pie.
I done seen that before.
They needed their pie.
Come on.
and said they were going to someone else's
They
house.
was gonna take it. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Well, we didn't use it, so guess what?
And watch this, I'm gonna throw the twist at y'all even more. Watch this. This is when you know you gotta forgive them. The twist is, it was my own son.
Oh, well, he could.
Yes.
Daddy, I tell you, I'm getting ready to send him to
What?
some other
He
thing.
could do that. I mean, you mom.
He just felt like, he comes in the
You
house,
mom.
I'm thinking, hey mom, and then I'm like,
That's illegal.
I'm in the kitchen. I'm like,
You leave that, you don't never take nothing, you don't never.
I said, well, you could at least told me. But it was all
That's
good.
mom.
It was all
That's
good.
mom.
Damn right.
Oh my God.
They be grown now.
She said, I'm bud,
No,
right?
at least
The
he was
thing
real
is, they
about it.
do.
Right.
It's surprise.
But for real,
He was
right?
more than
For real,
that.
your children are the biggest culprits. Right? Your children are the biggest culprits. Yesterday, I'm drinking me some apple cider, right? Y'all know I'm staying off the liquor, right? So I'm drinking me some apple cider. I'm drinking me some apple cider, right? And I have me a bottle of apple cider, and I'm good, right? About this much left in the bottle. It's real cold. I'm like, yeah. No, I mean, the mini-me just follows the big me. Right? Daddy, is that a Martinelli's bottle?
Oh, that's the best.
Can I have that? Right? Can I? That's good. Daddy, do you know that Martinelli, their family, they have done a good job of leaving their children a heritage. Yes.
Bye, girl.
Use your own words.
What girl?
That little.
Oh.
And then Kendall rolling around all day on a hoverboard, right? She rolling around the house on a hoverboard, boys. So she goes in the kitchen on her hoverboard, gets a little small cup. And after Kirsten done took this much, yeah, I just want a little bit. Now Kendall wants. Because Kendall want anything Kirsten wants. I like these leeches. They just take
But
and
see,
take.
Pastor gotta work through that. See, I'm at the point where I'm good with, like, I text Candy next day, good morning, son, my favorite son. You know, I'm okay.
I'm texting them now. They take everything. They take everything I got. It don't taste good unless it's on my plate.
That's the way it is with you.
It don't taste good. She don't want nothing unless it's on your plate. It don't taste good unless it's on my plate. If I'm eating it, guess what? It must
Here, take
It don't matter that meatballs is out there in the hallway.
Or even eat something that's yours.
Oh, they eat.
Eat something that's yours.
Okay, now she's going to Niles. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You
I'm
feel
better.
it?
Why you won't eat it? And it was mine.
Cause
Because I don't think you wanted it.
Did they ask you?
Of
I
course
must do the
not.
same thing. Do the same thing. If it's a steak in the house, we go to the restaurant eat. I don't eat all mine. I bring my steak home. I already know.
it's gone.
Next morning, he
It's
getting
done.
up, beating me about the pig to go eat the steak. Didn't ask me enough. Oh, I didn't think you was gonna eat.
wanted it.
Why did I
You
bring it
didn't
home?
you didn't give me time to want it.
Hey,
And that's one thing I can't stand. That's bad.
Lord,
Increase
increase my faith.
Right.
Increase my faith. Right? See, all this is in the same genre of you got your own motivation concerning what you want to do. But somebody feels as though they connected to your motivation. Right? How do you stay uniquely you? So in the new year, my hope is for all of us that we can stay uniquely who we are. Right? Stay uniquely who you are and never lose a heart to serve. Right? So serve with intentionality. Give with intentionality. Not because they need it, but because it's who you are. You can never need somebody or resent somebody for not patting you on the back if you did it because of it's who you are. If your motive is, I'm doing it for me, then I don't need a pat. Right? But if the motive is, I did it for you, why you ain't show no gratitude? You ain't even say thank you. You ain't even appreciate it. You know, that's a lot of work. Amen? Amen? That's a lot of work. We're going to sing a song, y'all. Just one little song. We're going to sing one little song just because it's Christmas. And then I want to talk to y'all a little bit about something real quick. And then we getting out of here. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. This is really crazy. She giving her a massage. And see, Miss Grace done took it someplace else. Because she loves me. Right? Because she loves me, right? She's a con artist. Right? She's a con artist. But Miss Grace says she loves me. Y'all ready? I'm sorry. Yeah. Everybody sing. Worthy is the Lamb. Thank you for the price you paid.
Thank you for the price you paid.
Bearing all my sin and shame, in love you came and gave amazing grace.
Amazing grace.
Thank you.
Thank you for this love, Lord.
Thank you for your nail-pierced hands.
Thank you for the nail-pierced hands.
Wash me in your cleansing flow. Now all I know, forgiveness and grace. Worthy is the Lamb. The Lamb seated on the throne. We crown you now with many crowns. You reign victorious. High and lifted up, Jesus, Son of God. We treasure of heaven, sing it
Worthy is the Lamb.
on the throne.
Seated on the throne, we crown you now with many crowns. You reign victorious, high and lifted up. Jesus, Son of God, the treasure of heaven crucified. Worthy is the Lamb. Worthy is the
Amen. 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 Let me ask you all, if you will, there are some events that took place yesterday. That I think we should put into some context concerning what we have been discussing and kind of what the Lord may say about something that I found to be very important. Do me a favor, turn to Matthew, the 2nd chapter.
No signal. Entering the receiving shortly.
Ain't y'all some amazing Bible students, amen. You taking it off? There's let me just read.
Second one.
I'll start reading at the first verse, just so we can get context. You there? Matthew 2nd chapter, first verse. The Bible reads, "And after Jesus was born in Bethlehem, in Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. Now, who is it that's saying, where is he who was born king of the Jews? Who's that speaking?
The what?
The wise man, right? Verse 3 says, when Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Now, Herod was troubled, and all Jerusalem was troubled with him. We'll come back to that. And when he had gathered all the chief priests, now who was he that was gathering the chief priests? Herod. Very good. Now, when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. So they said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Verse 7 says, then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word, what? To me. That I may come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before him, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child and with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I want y'all to understand something before I continue reading, that when the wise men finally found Jesus, Jesus wasn't still in the manger. By this time, Jesus was about a toddler. Okay? Sometimes we don't think about timing when it comes down to Jesus. But Jesus did grow up. Amen. Sometimes we want to keep him in the manger, but he did grow up. Amen? All right. Verse 12, them being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way. Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, take the young child and his mother, flee to Egypt, and stay there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, out of Egypt I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was deceived by the wise men, was exceedingly angry, and he sent forth and put to death all the male children who were in Bethlehem, and in all its districts, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. Now when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, arise, take the young child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the young child's life are dead. Then he arose, took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. I want to talk to you all just for a little while. And I mean, if I had to give it a title, I want to ask y'all to do me a favor. In the new year coming, right, Don't fall for the okey doke. Don't fall for the okey doke. Right? Now I know that's a colloquial term, and that's a term that some of us don't necessarily understand or know. But what it really means is, watch out for the trickery of others. Be careful not to allow the trickery of others to remove you from the accomplishment of God's will. And why am I saying this? Glad you asked. I spoke about this at Jerry, Joanne's brother. Jerry's wife passed away. And I spoke at the funeral, and I told them a story, man, about this adventure that I had and that our family had. We went to West Virginia for Christmas. We left out, we had a plan. We were going to leave out at 4. We left out at 4:21. The plan was to get there by 9:30. We had a plan. We knew our purpose was to get down to her dad's house, Stephanie's dad's house, so that we could have breakfast with the family. We went down the direction that we normally go until we got to a new place where her dad had told us to take an exit. We took that exit, and we got about 37 miles from her father's house, but we didn't know the exact address of where to go. And I put in the GPS system, Kimberly, West Virginia. When I put Kimberly, West Virginia in the GPS system, it says, okay, finding, found it, boom. You know, it took us out the way. But then I said, okay, that's fine. When I put in Montgomery, West Virginia, which is next to Kimberly, I thought it would take us away to get us back to where we were supposed to be at. But it took us down the backside of the mountain. I've never been on the backside of a mountain before. I've never been on the backside of a mountain before. I've heard the term before, but I've never been on the backside of a mountain before. Never, ever, ever have I been on the backside of a mountain. Because guess what? Whatever I thought was the backside of a mountain, now I know was a lie. I have never been on the backside of a mountain until Tuesday morning. Well, Miss Grace, we were on a one-lane gravel road that was as wide as this pew, as this aisle. On the right, Stephanie was concerned that we would fall into the ditch that was next to the mountain. But she couldn't see what was on my left, which was a gorge, where if we had steered wrong, we would have fell off the mountain. Shit, I wasn't real comfortable up on that mountain. And the GPS kept sending us down this mountain. Now, Dennis, what I didn't understand was, how is it that the GPS was sending us down the mountain and I could see the picture concerning every turn we take in hairpin turns, going down that mountain, 10 miles an hour, sometimes 5. Why? So I ain't go to the grave. Okay, you can call it the gorge, but it would have been the grave, right? I got my whole family in the car. Save Kiera, she'd have been here today telling y'all the story. They didn't make it. That's what Kiera was, right? But how is it, Dennis, that the phone doesn't have any signal, but the GPS is still working? It's great. When we got down to the bottom of that mountain, I ain't never been so happy in all my life, but I still think I'm experiencing post-traumatic stress, because that night I dreamt about being on the backside of that mountain, Sheila, and I felt a little trepidation in me, because what kept coming over me, Sheila, was that I could have died. We could have died. And y'all still would have been wondering, where Pastor them at? Because nobody knew we were there. And I realized something. I realized that God didn't stop being God.
Take control.
Whether or not I was on flat land or in the mountain, God was still God. He was in control. I realized that my being lost didn't stop God from being God. Because although I may have been lost, I wasn't lost to him. Because God doesn't change. He's the same yesterday and today and forevermore. So if he's omnipotent before I get on the mountain, then he's omnipotent while I'm on the backside of it. Amen? So I had a Moses moment, Lisa. You know how Moses came up to behind God on the mountain and said, Moses. That was holy ground I was on, and I needed to approach it very reverent. Right? The point is, God doesn't change. He's in control, he doesn't change. But when I read the text takes us to a place where Joseph is moving forward in trying to ensure the safety of the baby. And the plan is, due to the census, is to what? Go to his homeland, the city of David. But on the way, Mary has contractions. And she has delivered a baby. They didn't make accommodations where they were going because there was no room for Jesus. Amen? So the innkeeper did what? Provided a place for Jesus to be born. Jesus is born in this manger, and as he's born in the manger, all this is going against the plans that have been laid out. I wonder how many of you all have set up plans for your life. And in setting up the plans you have, the direction that you end up going in is not the direction you planned on. Has that ever happened to you all? Happened to me. Happened to me on the backside of the mountain, right? But what happens when you find yourself in this position, and in being in this position, you also then determine that there are some people who don't necessarily have your best intentions at heart. So not only am I lost, but then there's some people who are out to get me. She's fine. There are some people who are out to get me. She's fine. There's some people who are trying to prevent me from accomplishing the will that God has given me for my life. What do you do when somebody is trying to prevent you from accomplishing your will, the will that God has for your life? Isn't that what we talked about earlier? When somebody's in the way of you becoming and doing the thing that you want to do? Well, the thing about Herod was being deceptive to the wise men. However, Herod had an assignment for the wise men to bring back word where the child was. And Herod acted as though he was the Christ's emissary, when in all honesty, he was not. He wanted to use the wise men. He wanted to trick them so that they can give him the location of the Christ. When he discovers that the wise men went another way, figured it out and went another way, I'm so thankful that the wise men were wise enough to listen to Christ, or listen to the angel. Right? But then after the angel spoke to the wise men, the angel came and spoke to who? To Joseph. Can I ask y'all ladies something? And I might need to run away after I ask it. Why didn't the angel speak to Mary? Would you say, Miss Grace?
Joseph was the man. It was Joseph's responsibility as Mary's husband. Were they married by then? I don't know.
They've been betrothed. They hadn't been together.
It is his responsibility to provide their well-being.
What you say, Lisa?
I
So leadership, she said, because he was the head of the household. So leadership regarding direction of the family came through who? Through Joseph. So after the angel spoke to the wise men, the angel came and spoke to Joseph. Because what we don't, after the Magnificat, we don't hear that the angel came back to speak to Mary. Right? All the other instructions came through Joseph regarding what to do with the baby. I wonder, Dennis, I wonder, do you think that the Lord can provide any instructions for what to do with the baby through the man? Because it seems to me like every conversation I have in today's society regarding what's the role of the baby and what the baby's going to do, when I go visit Kendall School, the people at the desk, they talk to Stephanie. They talk through me. They talk to Stephanie. And I happen to be, y'all know I'm petty. But I happen to try to ask the question, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. So we at the school, and we're talking about an IEP, right? Individual educational plan. Now I'm the psychologist. I'm the one who actually approves people to get IEP. I do that. But they don't talk to me. Well, Ms. Jackson, what do you see when she's at home? And I say, well, what we see is, no, I'm not that bad anymore. Right? Because what Stephanie will do is Stephanie will say, Kevin, tell them what you know. Because what Stephanie knows is that I do that. I wonder whether or not there can be some lesson there. The lesson, Joe, is that the angel came and spoke, after he spoke to the wise men, he told the wise men, don't go back to Herod. The angel came and spoke to Joseph. Now remember, this is the second conversation Joseph had with the angel. The first conversation that Joseph had with the angel was to tell him what? Don't leave. Don't leave. Right? I preached about that a couple of weeks ago. I did Bible study or something like that. Right? And Joseph had the ability to hear from God because they had a heart of God to honor God with what God had called him to do. And as a result of that, what? He had privilege of participating in a front row seat of history that sometimes we give up when we don't honor God. Angel continues to come to Joseph. The angel came to Joseph and told Joseph what? Don't go back there, go to Egypt. You're going to go to Egypt until Herod is dead. I'm so thankful for the explicit instructions of God. Y'all might say, okay, where am I going with this? This morning I woke up to the news that 5 Jews were massacred. This is the 9th terrorist action against Jewish people in 1 week. 1 week. And it reminded me of Herod and how Herod sought to massacre all those Jewish babies to try to prevent the existence of God. He killed the masses of children under 2 trying to get to one. One who couldn't be found, one who couldn't be killed, one who had an emissary in his parents, in the wise men. Y'all ever notice how many people God used to help Jesus stay until it was his time? Right? God used lots of people to help Jesus just stay alive. But Herod had another goal. His goal was what? To kill him. And I started wondering, how many people in our lives are seeking to destroy the Christ that's in us by destroying the things around us that we know Christ supports? What if Christ called you to be an aviator? But there were some, in order to kill the Christ, would kill your dream of mathematics, because you can't do aviation if you don't do mathematics. Or kill your dream of being in good health, because you can't do aviation if you're not. Your body can't stand the G-forces that take place when you're riding in a plane. What if people around you are seeking to kill the thing in you by killing the stuff that gets you to the thing? Before I started cutting hair, Joe, I started having to remember to think about, I gotta have clippers before I can cut hair. So what happens if I have no clippers? I can't do the thing that I'm called to do, right? But clippers cost. So I think my first pair of clippers I got either from Danny or from my mother. Now when they gave me the clippers, they never knew that I was going to cut hair. Right? They never knew that. But what if I never get the clippers? What if the person who gave me the clippers said, well, I can see cutting hair in him, but I don't want him to cut hair, so I'm never going to give him some clippers. Because I can't afford clippers. I can't buy my own. I don't have any money. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that all of us needed somebody to push us to do the thing that's in us. But what happens when the people surrounding us are able to see the thing in us, but won't push us? As a matter of fact, what they seek to do is distract from it, to push it away from it. See, Herod didn't want Jesus found so that Jesus could be celebrated, even though that's what he said. Why did Herod want Jesus found? So that he could kill him. And he was going to use the wise men. The wise men's goal was to go. They said, we bring in gold, frankincense, and myrrh. To what? To worship him. Their goal was to go worship. Herod's goal was to kill. But Herod would use their goal to worship to kill. Am I making sense to y'all? What I'm saying is, when I say don't fall for the okie doke, is you may have a plan, and you may have prepared for your plan, and your plan may take you down a winding back road. But God ain't stopped being God to get you to your destination if you focus on the will of God for your life, which requires us to what? Stay constantly open to hearing from God. That's what the wise men did. That's what Joseph did. In order to get to your goal, you got to hear from God. But once you hear from him, you got to be willing to move in the direction he's calling you to move. Because the last instruction that Herod gave to the wise men was what? Come back. When you find him, come back. Sometimes you can't listen to them folk who mean you no good. But I'm thankful that the Lord will show you. He'll show you. What my fear is, though, Joanna, is that many times that what he shows us, we don't pay attention to. Or we choose not to listen. Absolutely. How many times has the Lord revealed? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I'm just thankful because I'm laughing. 'Cause what you are saying goes along with, what something I'm into, and you're saying go into, the new year, not falling for okie doke. Are any of us familiar with The Mandalorian? It's on Disney Plus. It's a Star Wars.
I do know.
But
Yeah. I looked at it last night. I didn't look at it last night. I looked at the commercial last night.
Okay.
And I want to know who he is.
Okay, so The Mandalorian, they're bounty hunters, whatever. They're known to just be cold, stone, soul warriors and hunters. So the whole thing is finding the kid, which everybody calls Baby Yoda, but it's not Yoda because it's in the, further past that. So it is this story 100% that he's this bounty hunter. His whole job is just find it, take it back to whoever requested him for service. But as he goes and he finds the kid, he's like, I'm not feeling this plan anymore. So he betrays his whole order, his whole group to protect this child. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, something's just not right about this plan. So now he becomes the hunted. And a few friends, before they turn on him, they're like, why don't you just give up the kid? And he's like, you know what? It's something about this kid that's bigger than just his mission.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, the kid has the Force. And so the people that want the kid found and dead want to take his power and use it for their own evil. So I'm thankful because it's like, man, I just literally watched this story, and I see the God all in the storyline, even though it's Star Wars. But Star Wars is kind of always...
No, I mean, most movies, if you get a chance, like think about it. My little brother, he always says, it's the JC principle, right? Well, y'all ever seen The Green Mile? The movie
Yeah.
Green Mile, right?
Yeah.
What was the main character called? What was his name? Yeah, John Coffey. That was his name, right? That's JC principle, right? Jesus Christ.
Right?
Jesus Christ, right? There's always typologies. That's what they call them, right? The symbols of Christ that are in the movies. We should look at movies that way, right? And that's all that is, a symbol of Christ, right? But I love what you said, Dennis, because often what we do is we have a mission. We perform the mission. It's like what I said about Darnett. Darnett goes to the city of Alexandria every day, and sometimes the city of Alexandria might ask Darnett to do something, perform a service, and performing that service, it's really against her morals. It's against her perspective on how she sees things. But what happens when she says, I can't do this because this is against my morals? Then she becomes the hunter. Right? She is taking control of the little baby, and the little baby could be a little audit, right? Or a budget item or whatever. But she's taking control of that little baby to say, no, I'm going to cherish this little baby and treat it in a way it should be treated. But everybody around her say, girl, what is wrong with you? Just do your job. Just play along. Go along to get along, right? But Darnett then says, no, I am not falling for the... Right? Because I honor someone, because something about this ain't right, and the reason they ain't sitting right with me, why? Is because someone who's in me allows me to understand that what you're asking of me is against him. I may not understand it, I may not be able to feel it, but I ain't got to tell my sisters what intuition is. You'll follow intuition more than you'll follow logic. You follow your gut, don't you? How y'all say it, Miss Grace? Something just don't feel right. I don't know, can't put my finger on it, but something just don't feel right. I know something is going on, right? And I often say, you don't mind reading? What do you mean? Right? Okay, whatever. I just know something ain't right. That's what the wise men felt. That's what Joseph felt. Mandalorian, that's what they felt. Something ain't right. What are you going to do next year when something just don't feel right? Are you going to listen to the intuition that God has placed in you? Or are you going to just go along and get it on? My prayer for you in 2020 is that it not be the year of go along and get it on. Within living uniquely as you are, it requires you to accept that which God has placed in you. Everybody don't have every gift, but whatever the gift is you have, use it for the glory of God. Allow it to be championed in you. And stop sweeping the gifts you have under the rug. Right? Joseph's gift was what? Take care of that baby. And teach that baby how to hammer a nail. Son can't be a carpenter if daddy don't teach him how to be a carpenter. It's strictly an apprenticeship program. Isn't it amazing when you're teaching God how to hammer a nail?
He already knows how much to do.
You know what, Joe? I happen to believe that Jesus did not allow that thought, right, of omniscience, right? Because what do? He veiled his deity. He veiled his deity. Isn't that humility? Thought it not rather be equal with God. He humbled himself, right? Through the cross. He presented himself as in the form of a servant. That was a good Bible study you did. Lord, he humbled himself and presented himself what? As a servant. He took on the form of flesh, man. He put on flesh.
So he was the first version of undercover boss.
He was an undercover boss. He was the boss and chose not to act in a bossly way. He was the king who chose to be a servant. Kings don't serve. Kings are served. And he put on an apron and said, I'm a servant. Peter wanted to keep him in the stratosphere and say, you can't wash my feet. I should be washing your feet. Jesus says, if I don't wash your feet, you ain't got no part with me. Peter said, wash me. Wash my head, not just my feet. Wash my head. Wash everything. Right? Because I got to be a part of you. Isn't it amazing to be so convinced that being a part of Jesus, his way, is the best way to be a part of Jesus? Because sometimes we're a part of Jesus our way. Sometimes we choose how we connect with Jesus. We choose the work we do for Jesus. And we choose how we do it for him. What if we're so... This is one of my prayers for Grace Life. I don't often try to speak out loud, but I'm speaking out loud. It's very sad to talk to myself. And I answer too. You know I do this. Right? But one of my hopes for Grace Life is that we come to a place of kind of understanding the role we play in the world is bigger than just coming in the door. And that we can actually see how many lives we affect. I was looking at our account the other day, and I couldn't believe. I still can't believe that the Lord has blessed Grace Life, and we have been blessed to give what we have to others to bless them. Grace Life blesses people in ways that many of us never really know. We support people, we encourage people when they are downtrodden. And, as a matter of fact, truth is, we look for more ways to bless people. Because I just have this conviction that if we live with our hands open, He can put something in. So as opposed to being focused on what is being taken out of, focus on what He'll put in. Does that make sense? Other day I was riding down 202, right next to the gas station, before you turn on Central Avenue. And there's this lady. She sleeps at the bus stop every night. She wrapped up at the bus stop. And that thing breaks my heart. I'm like, Lord, we got to do something. And I started thinking, Dennis, I'm like, man, we got a building over there that's empty. Every night. Could we put a cot or two up so people can get out the cold? That can't do everybody. Can we put 5 or 10 cots up and let people just sleep? And then the logical business side of me starts kicking in and says, there's liability that you got to take into consideration. And I'm like, Lord, it's so hard when you have systems set up to kill the thing in you, right? Because when you're taking care of people, you got to take care of the system that helps you take care of people. And all I really want to do is just open the door and let folks look, sleeping on this floor in heat is better than sleeping on this. Y'all know what I mean? Sleeping on this floor with no heat is better than sleeping out there. My prayer for us is that we can begin to do more and not let a system prevent us from actually living out the reality and truth of who we are. But also realize that if people don't accept it, it's on them. It's on them. I'm also digging this the year of the get over it.
Hallelujah.
I'm deeming this the year to get over it.
Oh.
Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it. Because Harris Show got over it. How did he get over it? He died. Because I realized that some people's plans, and when their plan get thwarted, because God has a bigger plan, sometimes the fact that they can't be, able to control you and take advantage of you and destroy you, it might kill them. Does that make sense?
Yes,
It might kill them. But guess what? They'll get over it. They'll get over it. Don't let that stop you from being you. That may require people to leave you. It may require people to distance themselves from you. It may require people to go another direction from you. But guess what? Get over it. They might. But when they come back, can my heart be right? Oh, that ain't want that one. Joe, what'd you say? Bam! No, they say, yeah, when they come back. Yep. But we gotta be right. No, I know, but that's the reality. Because guess what? That's when pettiness gets in the overdrive. Right? Pettiness gets in the overdrive. And something in me say, guess what? Wasn't good enough then, I ain't good enough now. I start singing country songs, right? Wasn't good enough then. I ain't good enough now. Don't need me no more. I'm on a cloud. You don't need me. Say it again. You don't need me. That's what I'm saying. He killing Lisa, right? That's right. Lisa like that, boy. Lisa like that. That's what pettiness is on overdrive, right? But what happens when the Lord starts speaking? Right? And you on the mountaintop of pettiness, and the Lord starts speaking. Because guess what the Lord does? He doesn't forget us. He doesn't forget to speak to us even when we feel justified. That's frustrating to me. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, no, don't speak yet. Let me be petty. Let me be petty, God. And He like, I thought I forgave you.
Just one jab, Lord. Just one jab.
I just want to hit him low real quick, Lord. It ain't going to take long. Let me just hit him quick, real fast. And He's like, yeah. Because then it really gets me with you. It's when you hit the end. Because I love you just as much as I love you. So you're going to hit the one I love. I can't stand perspective sometimes. Hate it. But He never leaves us without perspective. Amen? I'm grateful for you all. I want to invite you all. Agape Fellowship Ministries is having a watch night service 9:30. They had the singing group that's going to be here around the corner. Bishop Thompson. Bishop Thompson. Yeah. They're having a watch night service. I know we're not having a watch night service. Unless y'all want to. If y'all want to come in and we pray, that's fine. But if not, then what I'm praying for you is that you all have a wonderful New Year experience. Agape Worship Ministry. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They can't hear you.
2 weeks ago, I was coming out of Metro, and me and my friend, and when the train pulled in, I saw this guy, and something, I had a funny feeling in my spirit. So when we got off the train, we headed up the escalator, and I'm always looking around me. So anyway, I saw the same guy, and it just registered. That guy is going to steal your pockets or snatch your pocket. So I told my friend, who had this big old pocketbook, and she's digging down in it. She's beside me on the escalator, and I said, get over, and stop digging in the pocketbook. Because I thought, if he doesn't get me, he's going to get her, because that's what he's going to do. So it was a short escalator. We get to the top of the escalator. I tell her again, I said, come over here, don't go out. Wow, I said, just don't go out the turnstile. He comes up, and she said, come on. I said, no. I said, stay over here with me. I said, I'm not going out. So he had, because in my mind, I'm thinking, you may take this pocketbook, but I ain't making it easy for you, brother. So he comes up, and he hesitates, but then he goes through the turnstile. My friend thinks I'm crazy at this point.
No, it's brilliant.
She
It's
said,
brilliant.
she goes out the turnstile. Within moments, we hear this screaming, help, police. Not her, but another old man, another person with white hair. He had knocked him down, and so.
And stole his stuff.
But
Amen.
I said, I knew it. I said, but I was going to be the target, or you were going to be the target. I said, I didn't have time to explain to you. I said, well, no, you're so. I said, you're lucky that that old man went out before you, because if it hadn't been him, it probably would have been you, because he was dead. I just knew that. I just knew that he was dead.
Amen. I'm glad you listened to the Spirit of God. I'm glad you listened to the Spirit of God. But you know, for how many times have people has God given you a word that not only bless you, but bless somebody else? You know, I tell my kids all the time, well, I used to tell them, look, I sometimes don't have a problem explaining to you all why I'm telling you to do something. But what I want to train you all to understand. When I say get down, even if I don't offer you an explanation, your first response should be what? To get down, to move, so that you can live, so that we can talk about it later. I think that's how we should approach God.
I think that's on Miss Grace. Did you all hear about the, it's old, but whenever we're pumping our gas, and going to your cars, make sure you look under your car for women because men are hiding under the cars before when you walk to
Oh,
it.
really?
Your cars, yes. And then they grab your legs and then they do the human trafficking thing or steal your car. So make sure you look, when you're walking to your car, if you go to the grocery store at night and it's dark, it gets dark early, look under your
Still
car.
good. Still,
Oh,
basically,
no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm very observant.
Just make sure you're very aware.
you know
of
this
what's
world,
around you.
man.
And then always
People,
look,
they just coming up.
and then always look in your
all
back
stuff.
seat.
All
They
stuff.
taught us that at Second Baptist. Before you go over to your car, just look in your back seat.
Oh,
Because,
actually, Marcus and Danny, they're putting together a safety
yeah,
training
yeah.
for us. You know, you gotta let people use their gifts, right? I'm just trying to.
Tasers.
Well, that's the only reason why we ain't did it. Is because I'm trying to, tame Marcus down. Because he wants to say Marcus wants to have everybody sign an NRA card by the time we leave here. He say, hey, look, y'all, we got a sure way. We got a sure way for you to be safe, and that's not safe.
Even that's not.
That's not safe. That's not. There's no assurance in that. It's not.
I'm serious.
There's no assurance. There's no assurance in that. But hopefully in the 2020 they're gonna provide that service for us and keep us updated on that. And we'll have Dennis come in and Dennis will teach us how to do some physical security, how you can wire your house with ring and beam and all that other
Even though
stuff.
they're snatching the rings off the door now.
They are snatching rings off the door.
Snatching the rings off the door.
They
One,
taking
two,
rings
three,
off the
whole
door.
ring off it. Yeah, I mean, it's just okay.
Look, they reprogramming your security system. Like y'all see on the news the other day, they were taunting a little girl. They had kind of hijacked the security system. They hacked in the security system of somebody's house, and they had control of the video cameras and the audio, whatever. And these nuts were saying to the little girl, Santa Claus, I see you. And the little girl was, yeah. And they were taunting the little girl.
You think they call this man?
They don't have anything to do.
You think they like this man? Him the same thing. And I was just talking smart to the dude. I'm like, you gonna hack into his house, man? You gonna just be just taunting him? So that's not the man. It was ridiculous.
Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy. And we all know don't open your door when people knock because UPS was just in Temple Hills. A guy pretended to be UPS and he wasn't. And he got robbed. Yep. Just a couple weeks ago.
And it's kind of wild because UPS will knock on the door. They did it yesterday. They knock on your door, and by the time you look out, they gone.
They just sit the box
Just
there.
go around that they just drop
Yeah,
it.
they don't even want no signature.
No,
Yeah, they don't.
ring.
Not for everything you need.
They ring and they gone.
But that's terrible. UPS drive last week.
And
They robbed UPS driver. They did. Took all the stuff. Yep, took the truck. Yeah, they took the truck. They took the truck.
See, unfortunately, I don't listen to the news anymore.
It's too
That's
much.
why.
it is a lot.
It's too
But when you
It's
hear
too
stuff
much.
like this, it's like
And
crazy.
then you talk about intuition, Miss Grace. Nia, she just called me last week. 2 guys came up, knocking on the door, saying they were selling something, and it was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. She's like, I'm not expecting anyone. She didn't answer. Sure enough, in the neighborhood in Odenton, they got into a white van, and they had robbed several houses. Going in and
They
just
were trying to see who was home.
saying who was home, like they look, there's only one car,
This
she
is
has
that
2
time of the
spaces.
year too. Everybody tell my mother the same thing.
You just can't open your door.
If you're going somewhere, go when it's daylight. By the time it get dark, be home. Because what happens is people prey on people
Yes, the
during this time of the
seniors, yes, they
season
do. They do.
because they
Women,
want what they
Dennis, is Danny gone?
Yes,
It all.
Kirsten's gone?
I believe so.
I guess they gone. I wanted to, just, I didn't get a chance to do it last week. It's, a board right here, but I wanted to thank the board members. I think Lisa also, she served on the board. Very on the board. I just want to tell you all thank you. Because the work that you all do behind the scenes really makes a difference. I appreciate what you do. Right? Probably going for the church. And just making sure we have lights on every month. I never have to worry about bill being paid, never have to worry about paid. So I just want to tell you thank you, Lisa, thank you. We'll tell Kristen again, thank you, as well as thank you. And Marcus also. So thank you. Dennis, thank you so much for the video that you provide. Appreciate it. Got something for you in the car. Lisa, thank you. Sheila, thank you for the hospitality. When people come through the door, it matters that somebody's there to greet, bless you. Somebody's there to greet you and provide some encouragement. You just Holy Spirit. Just always being available here, our mess, not just my mess, right? But here our mess. Amen. Amen. Thank you for being the prayer warrior that you are. But one thing I do know is Grace stay on her knees, not just for us individually, but also for Grace Life Bible Fellowship. It's important to have somebody who's just willing to pray for you. Amen? And just be with you. So thank you for that. I'm waiting for you to start your prayer warrior ministry. Amen. Amen. No, I've always wanted to have a group of people in the church who their whole job is to pray. That's their job.
It's just so key to so.
Yeah.
I want to believe that guy, that I, because
Absolutely.
because of the prayers I pray, not just for me, but for my family. I rarely leave my house to not ask for his protection.
So I wonder, Ms. Grace, what happens if you have a conversation with somebody long enough? Does it ever come a time where you learn how to hear their voice? If you talk to somebody long enough, and you let them talk back to you, you become more attuned to what they sound like. When I'm in a crowd, if I'm in a crowd, and I say, children, it's 4 that's going to look up. Because even if they're in a sea of people, they don't know. So the more we have people who are attuned to the voice of God, it isn't necessarily just that you pray to him, so therefore he provides grace for you.
Sometimes he tells me to pray for him.
And you can hear that he does. You feel me? It ain't just gas. You're actually hearing him saying something, and you're doing what he told you.
Because there have been times when I go,
Why?
but I don't do that anymore.
You just pray.
If I know that he's told me to pray for someone or something, I just do it.
You just pray.
Because I don't know what he's doing.
You don't question it.
I don't question it.
Sometimes we mute. That's one thing I try to for our babies. Kendall more spiritual than anybody in our house. Someone say, Daddy, what does God say? We got to talk to God. So like, I ain't time to talk to God. Just the preacher, right? Now I won't tell her that. But she right. How can we not mute the voice of God in our children's ear? How can we keep life away from them? so that they can keep hearing God's voice and not feel strange. Not feel strange. Amen.
You try to put God in the mind, like you got to come a certain way from a certain person. You can't do that.
Because God's voice don't sound like somebody else. God's voice sounds like what? His will. God's voice sounds like His will. Not somebody else. Amen? Amen. Happy New Year, everyone. Everybody have a wonderful time. For what?
It's